Hey, what's going on, friends and family of YouTube? I just recently got back from my trip to Houston, Texas, obviously, and it was beautiful, plus 32 degrees Celsius for the week, and pretty much clear skies. However, I'm back home now. I'm in my truck, my 2021 F150. I know the title of this video does say 2021, 2022. It's because it's the same truck. And mine was built, I think it says December 2021, if I'm not mistaken. But when I came back, I had a surprise in my F-150 that I was really, quote unquote, pissed off to see. I had to use my navigation to go somewhere, and it said, well, I'll put the screenshot in for you here so you could see it. But it basically said that I can no longer use my navigation functions. I can see the map and where my truck is and where I'm driving, but I can't actually use the functionality of the navigation. So that's what this video is kind of about. It's about the top 5 things that I hate about my truck. It is really hard to find 5 things about this truck that I hate, because I actually absolutely love and adore this thing. So some of these things are kind of nitpicky things, so please don't get, aroused by that, for lack of a better term. But my number one thing, passionately, is the fact that I have to pay $130 a year to retain my navigation. That is just idiotic, in my humble opinion. That is stupid, especially when the competitors out there are offering it for free, no charge. Now, I was told the reason why they're doing this is to keep the navigation updated, connected to your house and all that jazz. But I just think it's a piss poor excuse, and I don't think that we should be paying for things like that. So boo to you, Ford, for doing that. Let's move on to number 2. All right, so the second thing that I don't really like about my F-150 is the shifter here. If you look, I love the shifter. I love everything about it. But sorry, my phone cut out. The power button is placed kind of dumb, so I turned the camera off by accident, so my apologies. But the second thing is this shifter. I love the shifter. I love how it looks. But if you notice, you can do that, and it kind of looks like it's catching as it drops, but when it goes up, it's fine. And the reason why I say the shifter is because sometimes when I park, and I'm the guy who puts it from park to drive to park, reverse to park very slowly, because I know the transmission needs to catch up with the wheels. Some people I know just slam it into gear and park. So I don't do that. So don't say in the comments, oh, you're doing it that way. I actually am very cautious about that. And sometimes I'll be putting it from drive into park, and the mechanism in this shifter won't let me do that. It actually stops me from doing it, because it's, again, I'm pretty sure it's like plastic gear driven, which if it is, that's going to be a problem down the future. But the machine will take it over and go very slowly from drive into park. And obviously I'm not going to be able to demonstrate that without perfect conditions. I'm not going to go out there and try to damage my truck, if you will. But trust me when I say this, and I'm certain that some of the guys out there have the same kind of issue. If you park quick, but your wheels aren't moving and the brake is applied, that it goes from drive to park very slowly. So I can't do it because, I don't know, maybe the sensors aren't catching up, but it goes from drive and it makes the noise. You can hear the motor working. It's like, and then it goes into park, right? So that seldomly happens. So that's definitely number 2 on the list for things I hate about my F-150. Let's move on to number 3, shall we? Number 3 is, of course, the cylinder deactivation. Mine is left alone. There are ways around it. Some guys in the States who specialize in F-150s, I was watching their videos on YouTube, and they simply unplug one of the wires on the negative battery terminal, and it deactivates the cylinder deactivation, which but it messes with some of the electronics, and I'm just not that type to do that. Mine is still on. I hear that if you put it in sport mode, it doesn't deactivate. So if you really cared about it, leave it in sport mode. So I might just do that, but the reason why I don't like the cylinder deactivation is just because of wear and tear. As the cylinders are moving up and down, but they're not activated, right? So that's my worry, and it's just, yeah, it's just usually it ends up in high repair costs prematurely. I know the GMs are kind of in the same boat previously, right? So cylinder deactivation is a something I hate, I guess you could say, in this truck. But just be reminded, this is subjective. This is my opinion. This is not your opinion, obviously. So if you disagree with me, that's fine. But in the meantime, let's go on to number 4. All right, number 4 would be one of my worst enemies, and that is rust. When I bought my truck, I was doing some research before I picked it up, and the rear diff and some other components underneath the truck surface rust prematurely, and I hate rust. If you know me, you know I hate rust. There's pictures on the internet of trucks with less than 1,000 miles on them, and surface rust has taken over the whole rear diff, and I wanted to prevent that. So obviously, if you've watched my videos, you know that I got the whole truck undercoated with a honey seal. I didn't use the rubberized coating because sometimes that causes more damage than it prevents. So I got a total honey seal underneath the truck, and they actually coated my diff in a nice coat of paint and then applied the honey seal. My truck was brand new with 80 kilometers on it, and the rear diff was surface rusting already. So I can tell you that it is true. The extent of the damage that it might cause, I am not sure, but I just wanted to avoid that as much as possible. So number 4 for my 2021-2022 Ford F-150 is the surface rust issues. All right, the last thing on the top 5 list of things I hate about my brand new F-150. This is maybe a nitpicky one. I understand how some of you will take it that way, but if you're spending $70,000 on a truck, I think that this should be standard, in my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's a reason behind it, but just from me, shopping for vehicles, this is one thing that kind of left me scratching my head, and that this truck cost me and cost everybody, $60,000 to $70,000 in similar trims, whether it's in Canada or the US, and it doesn't come with rear fender liners. Now, thankfully, it does in the front, but the rear fender liners in the rear, why wouldn't you do that? Why wouldn't it come with that? It's not even a $200 part probably for Ford, and it would take them not even 30 minutes in labor to put them on. That's aftermarket. I'm not even talking about factory built. So I don't understand why this truck is so expensive. I mean, I do, but why wouldn't it come with rear fender liners? I mean, I just don't get it. I have friends who have trucks who are a couple years old, 2019, 2020 even, and the rear fender wells are not fully chipped away, but they definitely have rock chips in them, and that could have been prevented from factory. So obviously, again, if you've been watching my videos, I put a set of rear fender liners in my truck, and I'm protecting it from the get-go. So if you care about your things and you want the thing to last, you're paying, again, high dollar value for this thing, get yourself a pair of rear fender liners. So that's all I have for you today. As always, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy the video, be sure to smash that like button and subscribe. I do want to tell you that I absolutely love this truck. With all that being said, I probably still would have ended up with the Ford. The real only one thing on this top 5 things that I hate, quote unquote, with a passion, is the fact that Ford is trying to charge us $130 in Canada to retain our navigation. To me, that is just silly, especially when the competition out there, it's free. I don't understand it. I think it's ridiculous. My father-in-law's 2020 F-150 has nav. He doesn't pay for it. Why can't we? Why can't you have the option to use the navigation without these so-called updates instead of forcing people, especially in this day and age when everything is, the cost of living is atrocious, to use navigation? That's just silly to me. And, you know, again, I probably still would have ended up with this truck, but that would have been one of those things where I really grinned and bared it, if you will, signing those papers. So that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you enjoy the next week coming up, and until then, bye for now.